Okay, so last few classes we were discussing about the satellite communication system. There is a payload and the other systems which supports the payload are the called the bus. We had seen all these things. And the basic payload is transponder and antennas. So fundamentally, a satellite is launched for providing gain for the signals from an electronic point of view. So we saw this figure basically of an example of a transponder for a C band, a 500 megahertz filter, wideband receiver, which is redundant. So there is a conversion in frequency as well. And then the wideband means all the signals are there. So you remove the grouping through demultiplexer, you get individual channels. And we saw that 40 megahertz is the bandwidth of the channel. 36 megahertz plus 4 broadband. So each 720 and 716 is difference of 40. The 40 megahertz difference, like that 12 channels can be accommodated in a 500 megahertz band. And we need to provide gain. So basically transponder, the gain is sitting here for individual channels. So this we had seen last class. I just want to talk more about this. Here this is the same figure. You have an antenna which is the uplink. This is the downlink again antenna, and in between you have filter a wideband amplifier which is redundant, a switch, a demultiplexer, and here there is a attenuator come amplifier. Attenuator is for some other purpose, like you need to set some levels, and it may be under the control of this ground tracking telemetry and command station. So some levels have to be set, and this is the basic amplifier. So here everything is shown with a reference to a point here and how much of a gain you are getting. This is a typical diagram and relative levels in a transponder. So at these points, what are the levels? And here you see the gain, basic gain, then little a drop here. This is the gain in dB. So the attenuation provides some loss, then further you have this gain here. So this is the basic amplifier, and that is the power amplifier, provides output power for each transponder channel. So that is the gain for the channel, and it is a normally or usually it is a traveling wave tube amplifier that is widely used. Traveling wave tube amplifier in this 6 or 4 gigahertz or 12 or 14 gigahertz or these frequencies, high frequencies. So that amplifier is there, and that's widely used. So it is preceded by attenuator. So this is the basic payload sitting on the satellite. Now we will discuss about antennas, antenna subsystem. Antennas, uh, there are uh, dipole as well as directional antenna. Basically, all the uplink and downlink is directional antenna. Telecommunication, TV, relay, broadcast, everything is directional antenna. So this refers to the directional antenna, link and downlink. However, uh, during launch phase, etc., you have a satellite put into orbit by going through many other orbits, intermediate orbits, and then you reach the final orbit. And during these times, you need to have a dipole antenna which is omnidirectional, and that is used. So that is also there. So it is not yet placed in the orbit, etc. So there is a dipole antenna which is having omnidirectional characteristics. Now, normally used antenna is a paraboloid reflector. Normally used antenna. So here the gain of this paraboloid reflector is measured with respect to the isotropic radiator. A gain, it's a gain in some direction, and isotropic is having same power all around, whereas paraboloid is giving gain in some direction. So this is the expression for gain. So this is wavelength of the signal. This d is the reflected diameter of the paraboloid reflector, and this is an aperture efficiency. There are expressions for that, but the typical value of this eta I is 0.55. So this is basically the gain of a paraboloid reflector with respect to an isotropic radiator. So you transmit using an isotropic radiator, you get some power. When you transmit through a paraboloid reflector, you have a gain which is related to this figure, this expression. That is the gain with respect to isotropic antenna. And the 3 dB beam width is given by this expression. So the beam width, 3 dB beam width. So here you see lambda by d is a factor here. Lambda by d is a factor which determines this 3 dB bandwidth as well as gain. All practical antennas usually have directional pattern, so they transmit more energy in some directions than others, and receive more energy when pointing in some direction than others. So this dipole is not used for this communication purposes normally in the uplink and downlink, and that's used while the satellite is being launched. So something more about transmit and receive antenna. So you have a transmitter, power PT, and you would feed this maybe a waveguide or something, and you have a send power here, PS. However, this is antenna gets some power through some system in which there will be some loss, so PS will be less than PT, and further this antenna is coupling to the air and something is radiated, the power is radiated, that is again less than PS because of the efficiency, conversion efficiency. So these are normally the notations in the book, transmit power here and radiated power here and send power here. Conversely, some signal is intercepted and that is received. There is an input here, and then after this feeder some losses PR is there. So this PR is less than this and this is less than this. So this is the received power. So transmit and receive antenna. So normally a single antenna can be used for transmit and receive signal simultaneously. We can have a device called diplexer which can switch between transmit and receive. So we can use a single antenna. Now many properties of antenna apply equally to both modes. So for the transmitting mode as well as receive mode, many properties apply because of a theorem called reciprocity theorem, which is shown here. So you have an antenna here, which is an EMF is applied. So it will produce electromagnetic radiation, and here some signal is received in antenna B. So some current I is induced in antenna B, which is operated in receive mode by EMF applied at terminals of antenna A operated in transmit mode. Then the same EMF applied to terminals of B will induce same current at terminals of A when it is used in receive mode and B is used in transmit mode. So this is a reciprocity theorem for antennas, due to which many characteristics of antenna are similar in transmit and receive mode because of this reciprocity theorem. So reciprocity theorem requires that directional pattern for an antenna operating in transmit mode is same as that when operating in receive mode. Another important consequence of reciprocity theorem is antenna impedance is same for both modes of operation. So this is the reciprocity theorem. This antenna is transmit, you apply an EMF, the current is induced, and in the receive antenna you give an EMF E, the current I is induced in this transmit antenna when it is used in receive mode. So as a result of this, many properties of antenna apply equally to both modes. So we can use a single antenna using a diplexer for transmit as well as receive. So I told there is a dipole antenna. So this is a figure of dipole antenna. This is the radiation pattern. It is also used for telemetry, and it is basically used for telemetry and command essential during launch phase. So telemetry and command uh, launch phase is very critical. So that time you need to communicate. So it is very essential during launch phase when directional antenna cannot be deployed. So basically antenna in the form of uh, maybe it is folded and it is deployed later on after putting into orbit this directional antenna. So here we use a dipole antenna during launch phase. So these are the two views of the uh, directional pattern, top view and this side view. So this is the directional antenna. This is the omnidirectional antenna. Sorry, omnidirectional antenna. It has radiation in all directions and uses definite shaped radiation pattern across the across cross section and this is top view. So this is used in launch phase. And basically, I told you have a paraboloid reflector for the antenna. However, we use a horn antenna as well. So both are used. So horn antenna, so when you have a waveguide, you can transition from this circular waveguide to this aperture is smoother, is a conical and this is a horn. So here there is a smooth transition. And these horn antenna, they are used as primary feed for reflector type antenna. So if you imagine a paraboloid reflector, at the focus you may have a horn antenna. So there's a paraboloid reflector antenna, and at the focus you may have a primary antenna. So in satellite application, primary antenna is usually a horn pointed towards the reflector. So from the waveguide, the signals come and to the horn, and then it impinges here and it is then transmitted. Or in the reverse direction, signals are received, then it is focused on to this horn and it is taken through the waveguide. So this is a focusing property, and basically we have paraboloid reflector, which is commonly used, and a horn antenna, which is used as primary feed for this paraboloid reflector. And this antenna, half-wave dipole, is used for launching purposes. And we don't go into theory, but there are two near fields, and there is one far field. And far field is distance greater than 2d square by lambda, where d is the largest dimension of the antenna. So basically, we are concerned with the far field, in which radiated fields form a transverse electromagnetic wave. Electric and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, and both are perpendicular to direction of propagation. So, because we are far away, we are bothered about this far field, and the distances are greater than 2d square by lambda normally for satellite communication. So, there are two near fields and one far field which is of interest. and that means it is greater than 2d square by lambda. And the radiated field form transverse electromagnetic field. So now we had seen the space segment. Okay. Apart from the space segment, we have Earth segment. Now the Earth segment, it consists of Earth stations, and Earth segment consists of transmit and receive Earth station, basically. So this is transmit and receive Earth station, or it could be receive only Earth station or transmit only Earth station. So normally we have Earth station either for an uplink. Uplink is transmit only, Earth station is there, or receive only Earth station, or downlink or receive, or uplink transmit, or both transmit and receive. So these are the three possibilities of Earth station. Either you receive the signal from satellite or transmit signals to your satellite, both transmit and receive stations. So Earth segment normally it consists of a transmit and receive Earth station. Both are there. Both transmit and receive, uplink and downlink are there. So the Earth station basically you can say that the signals are say modulated. The IF is there, up converted to RF, amplified. There's a diplexer so that you can use a single antenna is transmitted, again received, amplifier, down converter, demodulator, baseband signal. So this is a redundant Earth station, means this dashed, all these blocks are redundant. So they are hot standby type. Standby is there. So basic elements of a redundant Earth station. So fundamentally what you do is you have a IF, up conversion, RF, amplifier, diplexer and an antenna. So the basic signals means we are not concerned about a single signal. There will be a group of signals, group of TV signals, group of thousands of voice signals, everything is group, multiplex signal. The group is modulated onto a carrier wave at an IF, it is 70 megahertz, first modulation. Then it is amplified and converted to microwave. Say you transmit at 6 gigahertz or 14 gigahertz. So that conversion takes place here. Here it is at the 70 megahertz this modulation. Then you are converting into 6 gigahertz or 14 gigahertz. Then you are amplifying it. After passing through up converter, carriers are combined, resulting wideband signal is amplified. Wideband power signal is fed to antenna through a diplexer. So diplexer is the device which permits single antenna to be used as a transmitter as well as a receiver. So it will handle transmit and receive signals simultaneously. Now in the receive branch, the opposite uh, sequence. The incoming wideband signal amplified in low noise front-end amplifier passed to a divided network which separates out individual carriers. They are down converted to an IF and passed to multiplexer block where the multiplex signals are reformatted as required by the terrestrial network. So basically the reverse operation. Here you have this amplifier, each signals, then you down convert to IF, demodulate in the grouping is regroup under to baseband signals. And now we need to do some calculations. So you know that there is a payload in the satellite, and the basic device is the transponder, and you have an earth station. You radiate signal at the satellite, you amplify it, and the downlink it is transmitted to the receiver. So here we are bothered about the power budget, link power budget calculation. So what are the power levels? Okay. So we need some basic definitions here. One is EIRP, effective isotropic radiated power. So we need to define that. So before that, we need a expression for power flux density. Power flux density, M is maximum. So maximum power flux density at a distance R from transmitting antenna of gain G. So gain we had seen gain. Antenna gain means gain of a paraboloid reflector relative to isotropic radiator depends on d by lambda and this aperture efficiency. So in some directions they transmit more energy. So that is this gain. So that we have defined in terms of d by lambda. And so antenna has a gain. And PS is the power which is at the power sent. So we will assume hypothetical antenna. So P radiated will be less than PS and this PS will be anyway less than PT. PT is the power here at the transmitter. This is the sending power and assume this hypothetical antenna has 100% efficiency. So P radiated is PS. But this PS is less than PT by the losses in the waveguide and all these connections. So we'll assume P radiated equal to PS. And then, so we have gain G and PS is the power radiated, then that power into gain divided by 4 pi r square would be the, where r is the distance from transmitting antenna, would be the maximum power flux density. Now, power flux density through unit area without gain. And this ratio, the gain is, this is for an isotropic antenna. So the gain of an antenna is ratio of maximum to isotropic antenna. So for an isotropic antenna, there is no gain, and so this would be this power flux density without the gain. So you have G. Basically, G is pi m by pi n. Power flux density of this our directional antenna to power flux density of an isotropic radiator would be this gain G. So effective isotropic radiated power is gain into PS. So the meaning of this is an isotropic radiator with effective isotropic radiated power of G times PS would produce the same flux density. So if you want to produce this same flux density through a isotropic radiated power, through a isotropic antenna, you would need an isotropic, effective isotropic radiated power of G times PS. So EIRP is G times PS, isotropic radiator. So EIRP is G times PS. Now, this is normally expressed in dB. So you take dB of this, so square bracket denotes dB of this. So this is again dB, this is again dB. So multiplication becomes addition in logarithm. So EIRP in dB equal to PS in dB plus G in dB. So here another term is written dBW. So here, you know decibels is a ratio. So ratio of two powers or ratio of two voltages. So we are using dB for the simplicity that we need not multiply, we can just add. നമ്മൾ മൾട്ടിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് പകരം ഡെസിബലിന്റെ ഒരു ഡൊമൈനിൽ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ലോഗരിതമിക് ഡൊമൈനിൽ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആഡ് ചെയ്താൽ മതി എന്നുള്ള സിംപ്ലിസിറ്റി കൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡി ബി ആയിട്ട് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇതിൽ പല ടേംസ് ഉണ്ട്. സോ ദി ടേംസ് ആർ ഡി ബി 10 log to the base 10 P1 by P2 dB. This is dB. 10. For a voltage, it is 20 log V1 by V2 dB. For a voltage. So for a power, it is 10. Then there are many other terms. I just put it here. One is EBW. So there are two powers. When the denominator is 1 watt, you get dBW. So the denominator 50 watt expressed in dB relative to 1 watt. So this is a power of 50 watt. You express it relative to 1 watt. Then this is called dBW. And dB small m is there. Relative to 1 milliwatt. So 1 milliwatt is 10 raised to minus 3. So 50 watt relative to 1 milliwatt is 47 dBm. This is relative to 1. This is relative to 1 volt. 0.5 volt expressed in decibel relative to 1 volt. So again, you can have dB. This microvolt is there. I think D is there. D is there. Okay, D is there. D with reference to microvolt. So when you come across these some questions, there could be this dBW, dBV, dBm. So all these are given in the appendix in this book. I'll be sending that book. So this is just a problem, this is substitution problem. You calculate EIRP. So this is gain is given 6 and PS gain is this one and PS is this one. So another thing to note is if you work out the problem, you can have dBW here in effective isotropic radiated power, and one of these terms can be in dBW and one can be in dB. You can add a dB and add a dBW, and then the result will be dBW, because actually you are multiplying only. So only in one factor, when you move away from the logarithm to the linear scale, you are doing multiplication. In logarithmic domain, you are doing addition. In the linear scale, you are doing multiplication. So you need only, you can do this dBW added to dB, and the result will be dBW. So that is the meaning of this. You can do this and just convince yourself, because here you have a dBW. One of this can be dBW, other can be in dB. Actually, in the linear domain, you are doing multiplication. So you can take some two values and calculate and do and convince you. So this is what I just thought I will say today, and there are certain other calculations, and until we need to find out the need power budget calculation, so that we will take next class.